Project Moto Racing is set to release on November 25th, and it promises to be unlike any sim we've seen before. Not because it reinvents physics or shatters multiplayer conventions, but because of its approach to career mode and the car roster that blends the modern with the historic. Yes, you'll get the latest GT3 models and hypercars, but also classic GT1 monsters and Le Mans prototypes from the past. Above all, Project Moto Racing wants to carve out its own identity in career mode. And in a time when Codemasters F1 series has begun to feel a little tired, adding tweaks here and there, but essentially running with the same strengths and weaknesses for at least 6 straight years, this new title feels like a breath of fresh air. Whether the career experience of Project Moto Racing will actually live up to the hype is still uncertain. But if you want to know whether these big ambitions can actually hold up, hit subscribe for everything you need to know about the racing games you love. The developers open with a cheeky remark. These days, it's not enough to just copy someone else's homework. After 40 years of sim racing, a race that ends with a shallow "You won" splash screen simply won't cut it anymore. What players want is something deeper, something more intense, but also something flexible enough to work for different playstyles. From casual drivers who only have time for a handful of races, to hardcore veterans grinding through dozens of events. One of the key problems they've identified is continuity. In every new sim, you're treated as a complete rookie, no matter how many wins you've stacked up in other games, or how much experience you bring with you. For experienced and capable drivers, that can feel strange. But for old-school single-player fans like me, the rookie climb remains motivating, even after years of racing across different titles. Project Moto Racing tries to resolve this balance of expectation to the career mode through its financial system with different approaches. In most racing game careers, you buy cars, maybe pay some upkeep, but before long you've skyrocketed to the top. Here you actually get to choose how your career begins, with several budget options that directly shape your story. Option 1 gives you $75,000, which puts you right at the grassroots level of motorsport. It's just enough to grab a modest amateur car and scrape your way into the entry-level championships, where every dollar counts and every mistake can leave you broke. Option 2 raises the stakes with $600,000 in the bank. That kind of budget lets you skip the slow grind and throw yourself straight into the intensity of GT3 racing. It's a risky move though, because while the cars are faster and the prestige higher, the costs spiral just as quickly. A crash here won't just ruin your race, it could threaten your entire career. And then there's option 3, a cool $2 million if you want to make a dramatic entrance. This is the fast track to the big leagues where you can target top-tier machinery from the start. But even with that kind of money, you won't be bathing in riches. It's a ticket to the spotlight, not a guarantee of long-term security. There is even a fourth option, where the game basically hands you a mountain of cash to live out your racing dreams without worrying about the bills. It's the full sky is the limit. Money is no object experience. Kind of how Lawrence Stroll must feel when he lets his son race just because he can. But no matter which path you choose, the budgets are tight. You'll always have just enough to keep moving, but never a ridiculous surplus. It's still unclear though, whether you'll be able to take a bigger budget and spend it in a lower class, essentially giving yourself a financial safety net. Honestly, that would be a brilliant option to have. In many sims, money becomes meaningless after a while. With every new race, your earnings stack up faster than you can spend them, and the most interesting part, the mid-game, when finances are fragile, is quickly lost. Project Moto Racing wants to keep you in that mid-game mindset the entire way through. Because racing, in reality, is rarely profitable. Game design director Austin Ogonowski points out that his own family has lived it since the 1960s. A $10,000 check might look nice on paper, but when the weekend costs $13,000, you're still in the red, even with a victory. The developers want the experience to feel authentic. That's why every championship in Project Moto Racing comes with an entry fee. Every race adds travel costs, and every crash hits your wallet with repair bills. In this career, every mistake truly matters. Even the travel distance is simulated, and that distance directly affects your travel pricing. If your team is based in North America, you'll get discounts for regional races and local cars. But start your GT3 career in Asia? At first glance, it looks affordable, until you realize that GT3 isn't particularly popular there. The payouts shrink, and suddenly Europe starts looking much more attractive. If you can handle the travel expenses. With enough savings, you can even relocate your team to another region later, mirroring how real-world manufacturers chase opportunity. Prize money alone won't keep your lights on. To give you an idea, winning the 24 Hours of Daytona in 2023 paid just $25,000. That's not even a Volkswagen Golf. So sponsorship becomes essential. But unlike the big money sponsorship contracts that were common before the 2008 financial crisis, modern deals are far more fragmented, usually negotiated between three parties: the team, the driver, and the sponsor. Project Moto Racing reflects that with 8 different sponsor archetypes. Maybe you take a guaranteed flat fee per race, a safe, steady paycheck that keeps your books predictable no matter where you finish. Maybe you gamble on a bigger payout that only comes if you reach the podium, high reward if you deliver, but a dangerous hole in your budget if you don't. Or maybe your sponsor steps in to cover repairs or entry fees, sparing you from sudden financial shocks, but leaving you with less freedom elsewhere. The catch? Sponsorships only look good on paper. On track, you still need to perform, or your entire career could collapse. The most fascinating part of career mode is the authentic mode. No restarts, no second chances. It's on by default, because this is how the game is meant to be played. Well, looks like Souls-like mechanics have finally made their way into the racing genre. Of course you can switch to traditional if you want restarts and custom AI, but authentic mode is where the real magic happens. The goal isn't to win every championship and collect every car. It's to survive, weekend by weekend, with your finances intact. Think survival horror, but in the scorching cockpit of a GT3 car. A crash should terrify you. A 5th place finish should sting. When the rear steps out and the wall is rushing towards you, you should feel the weight of your entire career on the line. That's what Project Moto Racing wants to capture. Now, to be fair, if you only play 3 races, I doubt you'll feel that full survival tension. It'll still feel casual at that scale, no matter what features you add. But for long-term career players, if they manage to balance the financial restrictions and tensions well, this has serious potential. The only real danger I see is monotony, being locked into one class for too long if your finances don't stretch far enough. Whether this career mode will truly deliver, we'll have to wait and see. But one thing's certain, it's the most ambitious approach we've seen in years. What's your opinion on Project Moto Racing's career? Let me know in the comments below, and if you don't want to miss the next big updates on the game, make sure to like and to hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.